The thinking cap is on. I'm believing we should get a lot of info here. If we don't, I'm gonna be disappointed. I'm just saying, I'm gonna set it from the beginning here. I've said it for multiple episodes. I said we gotta start getting some answers soon. We're reaching the back end of this season. We gotta start getting some answers. So I'm gonna be pretty disappointed if we don't get at least one answer. I'm not saying we need all of them, but like we need to get at least something. So kind of hoping for that. I'd love to see Lu Guang explain, or else at least see his POV of how exactly Buddy hijacked a fucking boat. Just knew what to do. I mean, I got my guesses, but like, who in the world really knows, right? And then I guess just see how that all unfolds. If you like it all, like and subscribe to be alive to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments about this episode or series. Let's go though. Episode 8. The river. Huh. So Buddy been tracking. The subs are like extremely off right now. I don't. Hopefully it works itself out. I got a different version because that one was well off, and everybody in the comments said it was like very delayed. So. Also, something I feel like I don't praise enough, even though I did like a lot at the beginning of the series, as the music is always excellent and on point. I just need to point that out again. Ram him with the fucking boat, baby! You stay away from us. Do not touch him. I think Buddy no. Don't let her touch you. Oh my god. That is a woman, sir. She's gonna take on the boat herself. Uh-oh. Yep. 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 1,000,000% sold on the touch idea. Lost another. We're gonna get that bugger. It's like if that's the last thing I do, I'm getting him. Yo. Got the wrong guy. Not you. Breathing heavy because bro's fucking broken still. It's not who I wanted. He's got powers too. That's what I want to know. I haven't questioned him yet. That's what I said was gonna happen. I said he was either hiding behind the door or under the bed. There was no way he jumped out that window. Yeah, that's the most important thing here. I got no fucking clue what he knew. So he has some sort of connection because of that. Okay, so the son made it out. 1,000,000%, so it's not the weird thing. So he's had a plan from the beginning. Yup. How do you know? You don't know anything about the dude, but you know his password.
没错，解开了。没想到陆光会把密码告诉你。091305代表什么意思啊？
It's the day we met.
不知道，我不小心看到的。
All right.
拍的是什么？你们看窗外有什么东西吗？
I think it's time for you to go in, bro.
照片，这个时间，刚好就是我收到定位前。
So we can go back
刚离开病
beforehand.
房那会儿，我注意到陆光一直忧心忡忡。
为了留下那一刻的照片，作为时间的坐标，在必要的时候能成为命运的转折点。
怪不得之前我觉得陆光有些反常，所以刚才不管是他和李天熙过招，
It was you.
还是冲动的表现，其实都是你，
Yeah.
程小石。
And that's why we leave the photo behind so that we can use that escape, find out we know where everybody is. Yeah.
被带走的那个人，会不会就是我？
那个，你们到底在说什么呀？
Yeah, sounds
他们在讨论科幻
sounds
小说。
crazy to everybody here.
你们几个先出去一下吧。
这个半死不活的废人伤口还在渗血，我可不希望他死在这里。
I guess also that explains perfectly why he had no issues actually like running and doing the things that he was doing, right? Even though he's somebody who we're told is gonna like fucking die if he goes out and does something because it's not him.
只要有了他的能力，过去的一切，我们就都能改写。
We can rewrite everything. I'm assuming we're using it all to save the wife still, though.
谁？
Unless that poster is supposed to be a
李
hint,
天熙
but
找到了。
是的，
oh,
南德区的警员说，他们前2天晚上接到报案。看你个怂样，进去看看。
谁
there's
怂
a
啊？
noise. The lights on. Come on, go in.
少废话，
我们就都能改写，
谁在那里？
包括找回你弄丢的妹妹。
Ah, it is
有2名
then.
青年发现了一个露宿在废弃杂货店的小姑娘，警察没有档案信息，正巧跟我们要找的李天熙。形象描述啊，
留给我们的时间不多了。
So we're yeah.
警察找到你妹妹是迟早。
That's why we're trying.
我最痛恨背叛，即使是他，我也不会手下留情的。最后这一手，你想怎么打？
李天熙，
And this is why we could talk. This is why. Okay, and now it all makes sense. Right. All right. Perfect.
他刚从南德区的所里
This is all I wanted.
应该是你要找的人。
之前审讯室里跟我对话的就是他，没错。快告诉我，陆光在哪儿？哭什么？
Because she can't speak.
长得一模一样，怎么会不是一个人？
Because they're twins. Goof.
现在这个千真万确就是李天熙
Yeah.
他无法正常说话，并且心智好像也与实际年龄不符。
是他的孪生哥哥假扮的。但他不是应该更关心自己的妹妹吗？为什么想方设法要带你走？
I don't get it either.
拥有操控能力的异能者，
He is.
但他又是怎么做到同时控制我和王娟的？而且他的能力发动条件是什么？
进入陆光留下的照片寻找答案吧。
但是
选择逃避，不会改变历史。我相信，已经发生的过去必然存在，即使有无数种可能。但陆光用他自己来拯救你，这就是命运的必经之路。无论过去，不问将来，能不能让我试试？
You know sign language? You want
你
some
好
snacks?
我叫乔林，我有个弟弟，他小时候也不爱喝牛奶。喏，喝牛奶。不要，不好喝。小石，你这个大笨蛋！乔林，你变了，现在的你像一个……
She's changed. You guys are. You guys seem like you're always been the same.
小石是个大笨蛋。乔林，你，我也画一只母老虎。乔小石大笨蛋。我笑得前仰后合，我越是笑他，他越着急，喝得越快。然后就在牛奶盒子上开始乱涂乱画。虽然小时候我总以姐姐自居，但其实我俩没差多少。现在的他已经长得人高马大，虽然有时候还跟小孩一样冒冒失失。
Still gotta put him in his place on occasion, you know?
难和挑战的时候， 非常帅气的。
Bet you never thought you'd be taking him over, huh? No guiding voice.
这就是我当年劝他喝牛奶的功劳吧？那现在能不能也给我讲讲你的故事啊？
Draw it. You don't have to actually say anything. That's awesome. This is where they like cliffhanger us. We show up as other Lu Guang.
这怎么知道我们计划的时间和地点的？
如果告诉你了，那我岂不就没有利用价值了？
真的很让我讨厌，后悔之前下手还是轻。但现在，我可不会让你就这么轻易死掉。
So we're gonna do the same strategy twice over, almost? I wonder if she'll draw the same picture that was on that card. Hey. Oh, fuck. Lads, that is what I am talking about. That is all I am asking of this. That is the one of the best episodes, I would argue, for the season. At least for really developing and pushing forward a lot of things, it felt like. And while we get a lot of answers, they're more so just like confirmations on things that were already being suspected up to this point. And sure, there are things that are introduced, but I wouldn't necessarily say that there's a ton of new things that really got introduced. It wasn't like we're answering you 2 things, but we're introducing 10 others. You know, it felt more of like we answered like 10 things and introduced you like 2 or 3 others, while still leaving some of the big things and things that we're really questioning in the back of your mind. And also while presenting things that I guess you should be like, oh, this is actually happening, or the characters believe this is happening, leaving you a little suspicious on if they actually know what's happening or if they're just speculating and how exactly that's gonna turn out. And I think it was excellent for the way that it was done. Very much more enjoyed than the past like 3 or so episodes. I don't remember what each of them were, but from what I feel like in the last at least 2, but maybe like 3 or so episodes, definitely more enjoyable. One of the best ones, I'd argue, of the season. And funny enough, they did it without a cliffhanger that made me like feel something too much, you know. And not saying it was a bad one, because it definitely may have impact on what's going to occur going in the future here. It just depends on how they decide to play things out. It wasn't like as big as fucking Lu Guang coming in on a fucking boat and like, you know, like it wasn't that level of a cliffhanger, which is kind of crazy. I don't feel like I have a lot of solid predictions on things that I can make, but I will say this of where I guess my mind is kind of at. So we get confirmation brother was cosplaying himself here as the sister. All that makes sense. All of that stuff tracks. It's things that we've suspected, at least going forward. I never actually expected that it was just going to be as simple as that. I thought it would have been whatever his power is allows him to kind of be similar to like CX, and he can possess his sister here, and because of that, her speaking abilities and like whatever else the case is, like it takes on all of his characteristics at that point, which would make also sense, I guess, for them to do as well. They decide to just take the route where he's literally just faking who he is. It tracks though, and it makes sense. We've seen multiple different hints towards that with the burping and being considered like a girl. We've seen the speaking, we've seen the ability of touch and all that stuff working, which as we definitely know from what we've seen with the sister, who appeared to get into the mind almost and maybe possibly control the actions of the mom. We don't know that all for sure yet, but who seemed to be able to have that ability, was not touching the mom at the moment, but it seemed as though everything regarding the brother involved that, which also we get confirmation for, seems like here, where touch is very important, specifically because everybody seems to have their own free will at this point until Lu Guang gets ultimately like held on to, and then while he's being kind of dragged around, he complies. Anyways, all this is to say they've set that up perfectly throughout it. That makes it all track, and it doesn't come out as like oh fuck, nobody could have seen this coming, which is a good thing. So it leaves me in a situation where clearly we have the brother working with Jin, and they are, I'm assuming their goals align. What their goals are, I don't actually know. the brother that is. I feel like Jin's goal is pretty straightforward: protect wife or girlfriend or whatever he had before, right? Who ended up getting killed. Go back in time, do that, and not use CX for that. Not like use him and convince him to do this, but capture him and take ability, as we know that we have the ability to do that. At least we've been told that. We don't know if that's actually true or not, but that would make enough sense. Capture him, tie him up, take ability, maybe question him, like figure out the extent of the way that he can kind of do everything, and then take ability and then go back and fix it for him. What's in it for the brother? I don't actually know. Maybe it's just more of like a thank you for rescuing and taking me and my sister out of this shitty situation that kind of happened with us in the past, because we know he's the one behind that whole case. There's got to be more to it though, as he hid some things, and like just the way he went about it after the way he handled the case, all the files and stuff kind of being lost or taken in the process through him. So there's got to be something that happened back then at that time that was in his mind and was kind of fucked up. I would also love to know the timeline, if this was before he quit being an officer, definitely. But I would love to know the timeline in regards to his wife's case and how that kind of correlated, how far apart each of them were. If this was something that he did like right before then, if this was something he did, no, it couldn't have been after. So yeah, I wonder where all of that kind of went about and why that changed. More so though, it seems like the brother and Jin both have it out for the sister here, because she's been doing some shit that they don't fuck with, basically going behind the backs of them, as we end up finding her kind of like abandoned, or I don't know if she was like thrown out over there. I think she was just hiding. But we see her in this little garage thing, the storage unit, whatever she's in, right? And she's kind of hiding herself. And I'm believing that's more so she was the person who visited Lu Guang in episode, what was it, 3, I think? And gave us the photo, trying to save the brother, probably from his evil ways and the things in which we're seeing now, which would make a lot of sense. And also, her being the one involved there also allows her to be the one who has possession probably of the phone of the guy that we killed off at the beginning of the season, which would allow for them to kind of be angry and mad at her because they're going against like their plans for whatever it is they're trying to set up and ultimately make occur. I don't know. So it seems like they're just mad at her for going against them and their wishes and the way that they're doing things, to the point that they kind of have it out for her for betraying them, which is rather unfortunate, but it's a good thing because she seems to be the good person for kind of doing that. We get notice at the beginning. We get a location from Lu Guang, why exactly he knew like where to go, you know, because he arrived after us. So like, why did he know that, right? We find out later on that it's literally just because apparently so CX was possessing him from the future, and telling him, or yeah, from the future and possessing him through the past, and knows exactly where all this stuff happens and what to do and kind of how to get around doing it. So he comes here and knows the location and tries to set things up and make all these pieces fall in place, which works for saving himself, but at the end of the day it sacrifices Lu Guang. Whether that's intentional or not, I'm assuming it probably is, but I don't actually know for sure. I'm assuming in the moment where the brother is holding Lu Guang and kind of dragging him or walking him onto the boat, I'm assuming in that moment is where we flash out of the possession that we have, because we've talked about before how like one of them seems to not be able to overwrite the other in a way. So I'd assume that would likely be the case. And that's exactly when it ended. And it would answer all of our questions of why Lu Guang was able to run away and do these things when he was told that, you know, his organs were going to like fucking fall out if he tried to even get up and walk and stuff. And as we're seeing by now that he is kidnapped, he's just like bleeding out while sitting in this chair. So I guess that would all make sense. Also, it explains his abilities of fighting and everything else that occurred in that moment. So once again, everything tracks pretty well to a point that I can't really complain or have anything to say about it. They end up taking Lu Guang and getting out of here, but he's destroyed because he loses another one of his fucking comrades. And then this is where we get our conversation here. We figure out this isn't who we want, right? Of course it's not who we fucking want. Why would it be? Also, I don't think they're aware of Lu Guang's power, so he's useless in their eyes right now. But I don't know for sure. This is where we figure out he basically hid and he was able to like kind of slip himself out. This is what I was assuming. I mean, I was wrong about the location he was hiding in, but if I was assuming this was the case, there was no way that he just jumped out the fucking window, right? Like, that wouldn't have made much sense for them to kind of go that way. We start discussing a bit about Jin taking over the case, but all the things in the files and stuff regarding it were all erased. Why exactly that happened? Clearly, he had a plan from that moment of what exactly his plans were very early on into this, and that's why you have to be very careful, because he's probably aware of a bit more things and knows what to do more than others might. We find out Lu Guang, or I guess CX from the future, has been setting up some stuff for us to find back here again in the past, which allows us to find a photo that was taken from Lu Guang's bed exactly at the moment that the location and everything was sent. So it's all kind of on the same line of making sense here. But it appears we'll be doing a CX takes over somebody from future to change things, but then whatever he did wasn't enough to the point that we have to take it over and do it again after we've already altered enough of the things that have happened. Like, very fucking weird way of kind of putting it. Like, it's a double instead of just doing it one time like we've seen before. So it makes it very, very weird. I also think it's just funny how like Lu Guang, or I guess CX and Lu Guang's body, found us at the riverside the first time. It was like an argument between like the same person who trying to stop the other person. Which is really funny. We talk about needing CX for his powers and what exactly he needs. I don't get anything from this image. And I'm not seeing anything, so I'm assuming it's probably not like a clue as to where we're headed with it, unless it is and I'm just not getting it. But I think it's more so just like they were using it and wanted to zoom in on something. I don't know. Anyways, we find out that the sister has actually been hiding this whole time, and we end up getting her. She can't speak or anything. She's exactly as we kind of remember her. And both of them have a move that they want to employ here, and they don't actually, they think it's fucking hilarious, whatever they're about to do, which I guess kind of gets me a little scared. And then we have very good moments with our girl Ling coming in here and being, you know, best girl as she always has been, but finally getting to see some shining moments between her and kind of keeping CX a bit level-headed here and keep him cooled a bit and make sure that he's aware of everything's going to be all right, you know, and things are bound to happen, whether it is, we just kind of have to work it out the way that it is and don't overly stress yourself or whatever the case is. And I think her being able to be that calming force is really good. Also, the way she approaches this conversation is phenomenal. Being able to relate it in a way, see some backstory between our main two and how their relationship and everything is kind of grown, especially after seeing a conversation that they just had in present day and kind of how different they've always been, or how they've kind of stayed the same almost, but how their relationship is really fun. But her being able to use this through a picture to kind of express her feelings to this girl who verbally can't speak allows her to grow some comfort, almost to the point that she's like, okay, I can do this, and starts drawing a picture, as we see by the end of it, which is really cool because we'll get some info that I really want to know, and I'm excited to kind of see what exactly she goes ahead and decides to do. But he's pissed at Lu Guang here and wants to fucking kill him, and he's not. He's not messing around. And then we basically have our end sequence, which is like scary as hell, that we basically get caught as we're trying to do what we're doing, or possibly caught, which is supposed to leave us spooked. How exactly that's going to go next week, which I'm interested in. This doesn't feel like the other episodes where we have gone, something has happened suddenly at the end, but it feels like we skipped a bunch of stuff and now we have to go back to it. It doesn't feel like that in the slightest. It feels like everything naturally progressed here, and we don't have to force ourselves back and backtrack and explain out what happened, and we can continuously forward momentum this, which is all I've kind of been wanting for a few episodes now. I haven't been enjoying that route as much, and I'm very excited that we are headed a bit more here. I'm curious to see where else we're going to head next, what else they have for me that's going to kind of be thrown out. I really would love for us to get some more backstory, origins of powers, however all this stuff kind of came about, but we haven't really gotten much of it yet. I mean, there's still time, but I'm kind of hoping that we get some more explaining regarding stuff like that. Also, Lu Guang, I didn't bring it up, but his password for his phone, it's one of those things that you want to say is important, but I also feel like maybe it just isn't, and they're just trying to, you know, give you other things to think about when it realistically doesn't have any importance, but it might. And if it does, I have zero idea, because the date on it, or what I would assume would be a date, which you would put in, I believe they use different form of date than like I would over here for Chinese. So I don't know. It doesn't actually translate to a date because there's no 13th month, which was what would end up coming up there. So, I don't know, but that is something else I do want to keep my eye on. I forgot to mention a bit earlier. Yeah, gonna be all for me though. Love this one. I'm very happy to kind of see the progression that we're kind of getting here, and it seems like it's going well. If you liked it all, like and subscribe to me and to me. Feel free to check out the videos and channel. Let me know comments about this episode or series. I'll be back for episode 9 soon. You guys have a good one though. Peace.